Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mike the Stew Burner. And today, applesauce. Yep, apples. One of the simplest things that you can make with apples this time of year. Apple picking season. As you can see, we got a mess of apples here. I'm not cooking them all today, but one of the things that we like to make is applesauce with fresh apples. And I will tell you, and you probably already know this, that there's nothing like the flavor of homemade applesauce versus the jar. World of difference. All right, so hey, stick around. I'm going to show you how. Hey, welcome back. And like I said, we're making applesauce. If you've seen my pork chop recipe, then you've seen my applesauce, but for those that haven't seen it, I'm just gonna go ahead and make the applesauce. And like I said earlier, this is so simple to make. This is one of those things that, you know, you got a rainy Saturday or rainy Sunday, you got a mess of apples, you want to introduce your kids to cooking. It's a great way to start out because, I mean, the end product is just absolutely delicious. So what do we got? I got about 3 pounds of apples here. I've got some apple cider. I am going sugar-free with this. I'm going to use the sweetness of the apples and the cider from my sugar. A little bit of cinnamon. And I don't have any lemon. I normally use lemon. So I'm going to use for my acid. And the acid helps prevent browning. I'm going to go ahead and use apple cider vinegar, which you can use. Okay, that's it. All I'm going to do is get the apples peeled up, cut them up, get them into my Dutch oven here, bring them up to a simmer, let them cook down, mash them up. We got sauce. All right, so let's get started. I'm just going to go ahead and peel this one for the camera, and then I'll get the rest of them peeled up and cut up. So just make sure that you peel. You know, you've got to peel these. You can't do this with the skin on. They get kind of tough, and it's just not that good. So hey, get all the peels off your apples, and we'll get back here and get them cut up. Well, we are back. They're all peeled up. Let's start cutting. Now, if you have those fancy apple cores out there, you could use that. I just cut them. Cut around the core, as close to the core as you can. Then you want to break these down into small cubes. The smaller you cut them, the quicker they cook. There you go. About half-inch cubes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all these up, and we'll move on. All right, on to the next ingredients. I'm going to put about a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar in here. There we go. I want to put in about a teaspoon of cinnamon. Not too much. If you like cinnamon, put more in. I like cinnamon in mine. Then I'm going to go in with about a cup. This is about a half a cup here. I'm going to put 2 of them in of cider. Some people use water. Some people don't put anything at all. I'm going in with the cider. You know why? Because you can. Now, I failed to mention what apples I'm using. I have a blend of Fuji and Pink Lady apples. 2 of the best, I think, sweetest apples you can use for applesauce. And like I said, I've added a little bit of acid to this, so it's going to balance out nicely. You could go in if you wanted to mix some like Macintosh. You could do that for a little bit of tartness. But hey, now some people, they add sugar to this. Not me. I'm not going in with any sugar this time because these apples are so sweet, and the cider is sweet, that I'm confident this is going to come out really good. All right, so I'm going to get a few things out of the way. We'll get the burner over here. We'll get this going. We're going to let it cook until I see it simmering, and which should take about 15 minutes, maybe 10. Then I'm going to go ahead and place the cover on and cook it for about another 20 minutes until a nice and tender so that we can mash them up into applesauce. So let me get some things out of the way, and I'll come right back. Okie dokie, it is boiling, now simmering. I don't know if you can really see it from your angle here, but got some nice bubbles around the edge here, got some steam coming out. We are at simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and put a lid on, nice and tight. Drop the temperature down because we want all boils. We just want to simmer it. I want to cook this. All right, we're gonna let this cook at least for, I'm gonna let it go 15 minutes. I'm gonna check it, see how tender it is, and then we'll go from there. Looking at probably about 20 minutes. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get some business out of the way while we let this finish up cooking here. This episode shout out, a very special one, because she's normally the one that's making the applesauce. This is kind of her thing. And if you haven't guessed who this shout out is about, well, let me tell you. This episode is dedicated to my wife, Lori, Navy spouse, and you know, she's the apple meister in this family. So, hey, this episode is dedicated to you, hon. All right, let's give this a check. Now, I want to be very careful when you remove the lid, because there's going to be some steam in there and you don't want to be burning your arms. And make sure that the liquid goes back into the pot. There we go. It's looking pretty darn good. So, let me take a fork. And you can't see this very well, but I'm going to check for doneness. If this is nice and mushy, which it is, then we are there. It is mushing with the back of my fork. See if I can take a piece out. I'll show you here just how tender this is. Now, got cooking is, I don't recommend you do this because you'll burn your fingers, but see how mushy that is? That's what we're looking for right there. Now, there is quite a bit of liquid in here. I don't want all this liquid. I'm gonna go ahead and ladle some off, probably about half of it. And then we're gonna go ahead and use my immersion blender here to mash this up. And I like mine a little coarser. We're not gonna mash it to the max, okay? So let me get some of the juices out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and set those liquids to the side because I'm thinking there might be something I can do with that juice. Just thinking. All right, let me get this liquid out of here. Now I know some of you are saying, well, why'd you just strain it? I don't want to strain it because I'm gonna go ahead and use this big vessel as my little mashing pit. We're looking good. And if I need to add liquid, I still have it, but I just didn't get rid of it. All right, so let's go ahead and do some immersion blending. Now you could take a little potato masher and do that. You're good. I've done that before. And all I'm doing is just kind of hitting this pretty rough. It's looking like, I mean, I wish you could smell it in here. And my wife came down and goes, oh, she's going like that. Yeah, I know what she was doing. Okay, feast your eyes on this. Applesauce, huh? Now, if I had made a bigger batch, we would probably be, like my wife usually does, is freezing a lot of this. Because when we actually make this, we'll have quite a few apples left over and we don't want them to go to waste. So we'll make a huge batch of applesauce. We'll put them into big gallon Ziploc bags, get them nice and flat, get all the air out of them, and then we'll freeze them. And we'll use them, you need to use them between 6 and 12 months. And trust me, frozen applesauce is fantastic. You can freeze applesauce. A lot of people jar it. You know, if you're a canner, jar, whatever, go for it. You can do that. You don't have to say you can't. All right, let's give this a taste. I mean, I could let it cool down a bit more, but you know me. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. It's so easy. Perfect. And I didn't add any sugar. Like I said, I used Fuji and Pink Lady apples and the apple cider. So I was figuring it didn't need any added extra sugar. And trust me, I don't need it either. So this is banging. So you saw just how easy it is to make. Again, you know, you want to get the kids involved in cooking. That great little recipe to get them started out as. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, most importantly, share. So, oh, right over here, bah, go ahead and hit my logo and make it so much easier to subscribe to the channel. So, until next time, thanks, and we'll see you.